before we start class, so no worries there. I wanted to focus on the work that we did yesterday with our breath and give us all another opportunity to explore that sort of new relationship we're trying to cultivate with our breath, both in meditation, pranayama, and in our asana practice. And hopefully this work will inspire you also for some practice teaching that we're going to be doing today, like trying to incorporate, a new level of utilizing our breath while we teach our sequence. So, yeah, and today we'll be doing it upright, which will give us another perspective. So our work with our breath is to find a way to really coexist, to allow the breath to move in a natural way. We know that the challenge of coexisting with our breath is that our mind often over-manipulates it the minute we even perceive it, the very moment. And so therefore our work is to slowly ungrasp the breath little by little. And so all of these cues we're about to go through, they're all really trying to get you to do that one thing, which is ungrasp the breath and yet stay with it and feel it. An image that came to mind as I was practicing this morning was like a whale with those little fish that always swim next to it. How those little fish really just stay right next to the whale, like symbiotically, and really benefit, of course, in all the ways that they benefit, why they're there, and how they just move with it. They move with the whale, and the whale provides everything for them. In the same way, our breath is like the whale, and our awareness is like the little fish, and we're just really trying to coexist with it symbiotically to be there and to feel it, but to really allow it to guide us. So, easier said than done. So we'll spend the next 25 minutes trying to do that. So everyone looks like they're in a great seat. Before we even move any further with our seat, though, just taking time to make some circles with your spine, and then distort the circle a little bit so that it's not quite a perfect circle. Let it spiral, let it sway, and just as you're doing this, pay attention to the base of the spine. The base of your spine should feel very rooted, and as it's rooted and grounded in this seat, it allows for easy movement above. And so if this movement feels stilted, obviously sit a little higher or adjust your seat. And then just take your time letting yourself float towards center, not come to center, like as if your mind knows where center is, but feel your way towards center. It's a big difference. Feel your way towards center, and center becomes where you're able to really just balance without too much effort, upright. Take a little scan from head to toe. You can imagine almost like a laser scanning down the body. Noticing any areas that might feel a little tense, like the forehead, the eyebrows tend to, get grippy. The jawline, the throat itself, the shoulders. There's always a residual amount of, tightness there just from living. Maybe the upper and mid back. You can feel the low back, that whole fascial sheath across the low back. I can tend to get tight over time. Just trying to notice if there is any tightness and where it is. We'll affect it not directly, but with our breath. And of course the hips. And then also just notice like emotional reactivity. Literally, it could even be like reaction to even me teaching. Like, there's always something in us, that is reacting. And if you find yourself feeling reactive, just notice it, and we'll come back to that and see if just by working with your breath you can find a shift there. And then another small scan, but this time we'll scan the face, the throat, and the shoulders, but scan them in a way that actually does relax them, where you imagine the cells of the skin, the cells of the muscles, the interstitial fluid running between all of those cells, all of it just really releasing, gripping, releasing tension, melting. All the shapes we make with our face, the contortions we make with our throat, all of that can melt. The shoulders also can rest. We'll be breathing through the nose and bring our attention to the flow of the breath. Try to notice the flow almost like it was the water washing on and off shore, the tide coming up and rolling back in. And just notice if you were sitting next to the ocean watching that, it's never the same twice. It's not the same in Hawaii as it is in California. So notice what your tide looks like and watch it as if it were external to you. Feel free to participate very gently in this tide. Be a part of it, like the little fish next to the whale. That little fish isn't necessarily carried by the whale. It has to swim, but there's a natural gravity that pulls it in that direction. And so it's a very light amount of effort it takes to stay with the whale. That very light amount of effort, you could say it's as light as a feather. That light amount of effort allows you to participate and flow with the breath using minimal effort. As you continue swimming with the whale, feel the balance of effort and absorption. Feel the balance of the little bit of work it takes and all the support and all the saturation that you receive. Feel that balance of effort and absorption every step of the way. See if you can feel all four parts of the breath, all four ways that you swim next to this whale. You have your inhale, you have the pause, you have your exhale, you have another pause. These are the ways that you swim with your breath. Feel all four parts. As you continue with this gentle work, rescan the face, the neck, and the shoulders, and find a new layer of release in that muscle tissue. As you continue to feel those four parts of the breath, I want you to just hone in on and make sure that you're aware of, in particular, the exhale and the pause after the exhale. That last half of your exhale. This is where the body starts to really find homeostasis with the O2 and CO2. This last half of the exhale is actually where the CO2 levels start to rise. When we rush into our inhale, we throw that balance off again. So let that last half of the exhale exist and allow the pause to exist. You don't have to hold anything. You just gotta let it exist. as you allow the last half of the exhale to exist in the pause, your overall breath may shift. In particular, the inhale might be a little shorter than you're used to. And as chronic overbreathers, this slightly shorter inhale might be just the ticket, just what we need. Of course, we can't tell our breath what to do. But if you find that inhale to be a little shorter than normal, try to go with it. And at this point, we have all the tools we need to approach real breath awareness. And so you can bring the mantra so to the exhale and hum to the inhale. It's the same as the hum sa mantra, means I am that. But it's focused first on the exhale with the mantra so, and inhale hum. And right now, at the beginning of this mantra, and in the midst of our pranayama, we can keep that subtle effort going, that minimal effort of smoothing the breath, feeling that last half of the exhale, letting the inhale come to you, while you repeat the mantra, so, hum. So let all those parts gel together for a little while. As we start to reach for the depths of our practice, looking to go beyond the mind. We have to continue to work to go beyond the body first, finding a degree of stillness that is maintainable, because without that stillness, we're trapped on the level of the physical. So let yourself continue to sink into new levels of stillness, not by holding it and gripping it, but by releasing the urge to manipulate your reality from the outside in order to find what we're searching for on the inside. Just keep letting go of that urge, relaxing into stillness. And we also begin to approach a level of stillness within our pranayama, a stillness of effort. Just like the physical body, we can't force ourselves to watch the breath. We just have to keep working with the practice of letting go of manipulating it. It's a slow but steady practice. Imagine you're that little fish next to the whale, and if you can really feel the energetic field presence of this whale, you can harmonize with it in such a way that you don't even have to flap your tail to keep up with the whale. You really harmonize, you really feel it. You can ride with it effortlessly, but only through complete immersion. Internal immersion. take this last minute of our practice to come back to the feeling of the last half of your exhale. Notice the experience of it now that you're in a more subtle state. We're so focused on our inhale as a way of pulling in and generating power and focus. It's very rare to have a glimpse like you can have right now of the subtle depths of your exhale and what it brings to you. The exhale charges your battery. You can feel it. And if you're able to hold your focus there a little more throughout the day, you'll feel recharged, less strained. But it's very subtle, and it's almost the opposite of how we pursue energy. Externally. So you're welcome to move your spine a little bit, let that ripple go up through the shoulders and the neck. Notice if your movement feels free or fluid because of your connection with the breath. Okay, namaste. Thanks everyone for your focus and your attention. We'll take a 5-minute break now, and so in 5 minutes we'll meet back and we'll start with a journal. And just so you know, the experience you just had will be a part of your journal. So if there's anything you want to jot down before you get up and lose it, just like a note or two, it might be fun. But otherwise, take 5. We'll come back and talk.